On the men's side, this is an FIU program looking to rebound after a difficult season a year ago. There was a lot of injuries involved in an 11 and 2022 year. They lost in the quarterfinals. They come in tied for 9th in the preseason poll, although they're bringing back 11 players, the second most in the conference, only behind Western Kentucky. After the rash of injuries last year, expecting an increase in depth this year, led by Deshaun Gittens, who is the third leading scorer from a season ago. They're going to look to improve their three-point shooting, improve on that 34% from a year ago. This non-conference schedule for FIU, just a tad bit easier than last year, although a lot of challenges. They're going to face Howard and Stetson, who were both in the NCAA tournament last year, before opening Conference USA play versus Middle Tennessee State on January 2nd. Well, we're excited now to be joined by Panthers head coach Jeremy Ballard, as well as their forward, Jonathan Ibar, two of the best haircuts in this show so far. Guys, thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having us.
Coach, well, as I mentioned, and you've told me, last year was a difficult season for you guys. Disappointing, even. Injuries obviously played a major role. You bring back 11 guys this year. What are your expectations for this year's team?
Yeah, last year was tough for a myriad of reasons. Obviously, the results were not up to standard for us, not something we were happy with. But I did think as a team, we really worked all year long. We had the misfortune of some ill-timed injuries that really played a part, and we lost a lot of close games. So, the one thing that we really wanted to address coming into this year are things that are within our control. Last year, after all the injuries and other departures, we were one of the smallest teams in the country. So we really wanted to address, this lack of size in recruiting. We feel like we've done that. Jonathan, who missed basically all of conference play, we have him back this year, so that adds size along with the guys who we signed, in this past recruiting class. So we feel like we've addressed that. You mentioned the shooting. We're certainly hoping to be able to shoot a higher percentage next year, but we feel like something that's more in our control than that is us how we defend the three-point line. And so that's been a focus of ours throughout this preseason and in the summer as well as the rebounding. So, we want to be a force rebounding this year. We want to try to limit the people to one and done, as well as being on the offensive glass and really defend the three-point line. So we're excited. We've had a really good fall. We had a really good summer. By and large, we've avoided any devastating injuries. So we're happy about that. And we're just trying to focus on all the things that we can control. And I think the team's done a good job of that so far.
Well, certainly fingers crossed, trying to avoid those injuries for as long as possible. Coach, no Arturo Dean this year, no Javante Hawkins. You do have Deshaun Gittens back as a primary scorer. When you look at this team, who are some people that are going to step up and score the rock for you guys?
Yeah, I think that we really have depth this year, and I think that, I told our team last year, I look across in the locker room, and I'm not sure if there's anybody on our roster who's not able to score 20 in a game. But in all likelihood, we won't have anybody average 20 a game. So, I think that we have a lot of guys who can step up and be the leading scorer on any given night. But, for this team to truly have success, we have to embrace that the only scorer, the only leading scorer that matters is us having more points than our opponent. So, we could have a different guy, lead us in scoring almost every single game, and we'd be okay with that as long as we're scoring more than our opponent. But we have a number of guys, Jaden Brewer, I think will score a lot of points this year. Jonathan, I think people will see that he's really improved in his three-point shooting, and he's a guy that was highly efficient last year. You look at his true shooting percentage numbers, his effective field goal percentage numbers, they'll be one of the best in the conference. Now we just need to be able to keep him out on the court so that, those numbers can extrapolate out. So we feel like we can do it by committee, with the knowledge that we have a number of guys that can score 20 on any given night.
Coach, we know the fans down in Miami, they love their basketball. When they come out to watch this team play, outside of the depth that you've talked about, where do you think they will see some of the greatest improvements this season?
Yeah, I think defending the three-point line and rebounding are been two major focuses for us. Those are two areas where we were just downright bad last year. We were last in the country in three-point field goal percentage defense. We were second to last in defensive rebounding percentage. So, those have been something that we've addressed in every single workout we've had since this summer. So that's where we're hoping to see the most dramatic improvements. I thought last year we were pretty awful at taking care of the ball early in the year, and then it improved dramatically come conference play. And we want to take care of the ball throughout the duration of the season this year. And we really want to try to win the math equation that each game presents. We want to take the ball away from our opponents at a high rate, as we've always done. We want to be able to take care of the basketball at a high rate. We want to be able to limit our opponents to one and done as often as we can. And we want to be able to be on the offensive glass as aggressive as we can as well. So if we can kind of dominate those margins, dominate the math equation, it's going to give us a high likelihood of being able to win each game.
Well, Coach, I've never been a big math guy here, but that equation, it sounds like it would work if it all comes together. Coach, Jonathan Ibar sitting next to you. For me, he's a major X factor this year for this program. Why is he so important in that locker room?
Yeah, just his leadership, his experience, his maturity. There's a cliche, that he's an adult in the room, and he truly is. He has a professionalism and a maturity about him that really demands respect from everyone in our program. I'm very fortunate to have him in our program. I love coaching him, love being around him every day, and he's really picked up the mantle of making sure our guys are ready and understand the task at hand and understand that in order for us to be great come the season, we got to be great in every day that we have up to that point, and he's really set the tone for us so far.
Now, Jonathan, you're a second-generation FIU Panther. Your father, Ramon, played for this FIU team. What does it mean to put on the same jersey that your dad did?
Oh, I mean, it means a lot. It's kind of like a legacy. It's incredible for me to just be able to play in his alma mater and to just have him support me on my corner, have my family support me on my corner as well. Just to see that, through all the hard work that we put in since I started playing basketball till now, to be able to put on the same jersey he did, play on the same court he did, it's incredible.
Well, I'm sure you leaned on your family a little bit last year, too. You get off to that hot start, then you suffer the injury. What did you learn about yourself during the rehab process? One of
the major lessons I took away is that you can't really take anything for granted. You never really know when an injury can happen. You never really know when the ball starts bouncing. So one thing I really leaned into was, yes, my family and God. Those were the two major things that helped me through that injury.
Now, Jonathan, this is your second school. This is your fifth collegiate year. Looking ahead to this season, what are some personal goals for you?
Oh, man, personal goals right now. I just want to be able to help everybody I can on the team to reach the goals that they want to reach this year. Like being a senior, call me super senior, everyone call me old man of the group. But I see how fast your years in college could go by. And my focus is making sure that the young guys and the guys that just got here are able to click with the same vision that the coaches have for everybody and just put that together, man. Like my main focus for this year is just making sure that we all reach the goal that we all been wanting to reach, which is reach a championship ultimately and make history in this program.
Well, enjoy it. Soak in the journey. Guys, thank you so much for taking some time. Coach Ballard, Jonathan, best of luck this season. Stay healthy and look forward to watching you all play some great basketball this year.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Well, we will head over now to the studio where Matt Warner, Paul Nazigan standing by with some thoughts on the FIU Panthers.
Yeah, no, 5-11 in Conference USA play a year ago. I know disappointing for them, but Naz, you think that record a little bit deceiving. Why?
Yeah, I think so. And Coach mentioned that a little bit. They were one of these teams that really got snake bit in the injury thing. And, A-Bar was one of them. But, that really set them back. And then, they fight through that. And they just, if you count the number of close games that they lost, 1-2 possession games, if you get one or two of those, you just get some forward momentum. And it just seemed like they could never kind of get that. But to their credit, they fought and it just kind of shows the belief system that they have the components. I mean, we saw their first round game.
That's right.
They looked great at the end of the year. So you got a bunch of guys down there that will not quit. Coach Ballard, I mean, you can see he's just infectious. You can see he's a player's coach. The guys love playing for him. They love playing in that system, and they're ready to make some noise this year.
What is it? He always says, don't let go of the rope. That's one of the things he would say. You know, they play that havoc defense he brought from VCU from his time with Shaka Smart. They bring back 11 guys. Having some experience in that defense, what kind of difference can that make?
Yeah, it's not just helter-skelter.
Right.
So you need it. There's some really key facets to that, and having guys come back and know the system, but know each other, because a lot of that is reads and taking gambles. That's another thing. Like Coach Ballard gives them the freedom and trust those guys. There's a lot of guys that want to play in a system like that like playing in a system like that. It's fun to get up and down and press and run. So, again, they bring in a few new components, I think, to add some size that they needed. But those guys coming back, they really believe in each other and believe they have the components to do some damage this year.
I know this. When teams see them coming up next on the schedule, they think, better get some electrolytes in us before that one, right? You're going to run a lot. They are going to push you to your limit.
Yeah, that's for sure. And you got to say, you got to love seeing Abar be back from injury. Again, just a leader, a guy that you can rally around. Giddens and Lipscomb coming back. Those guys can help fill that scoring that they lost. But, much like a South Florida Storm, they got the components and if the conditions are right, they could really do some damage.
We'll see if they can make some noise this year.
Right.